What is up? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is kind of a news video, kind of not, because I already have a news video planned for Monday. I already have it shot, edited, all that stuff. But there's a few news items that popped up that I felt were worth talking about. We're going to talk about them on a day that is not Monday. So yeah, we'll get into it. I will give a quick shout out to the members whose lovely names are right here. Again, if you join the channel, you get access to exclusive videos, early access to other videos, and a special shout out once a week. I am planning on a whole bunch of new perks for 2025, so if you don't want to miss out on those, feel free to join the channel. I appreciate the support. At the very least, if you want to just like the video, if you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more content. I appreciate that support as well. I want to give a quick shout out to the lighting here as well. It is so much better than it was the other day. We got nice cloud coverage, so it's not just spotlighting me in the eyeballs, and I think it looks pretty good. We'll see how it turns out in the edit. Like I said, 3 stories I'm gonna crack into very quickly and go from there. First off, this is a bit of a bummer of a story. Every time I mention Ferrania in a video, I'll get a comment or I'll hear from somebody, hey, Ferrania is out of business. Hey, do you hear so-and-so's talking about Ferrania's not doing well, whatever. And I thought that merited a little bit more investigation on my part. So I've reached out to them multiple times, haven't heard anything, and I've been looking on other sources, i.e. Reddit, and there seems to be a lot of skepticism as to the validity of Ferrania still being a live and a functioning company. Now this bothers me a lot because I love Ferrania, I love what they're doing, I love all of their film stocks. I also think it's really impressive for any film manufacturer, especially one that's like kind of fresh out of the gate, to release 3 film stocks in such a short period of time. So if that is the case, if they are, not around anymore, that would bum me out a lot because, again, I really like P33, I like P30, and I like Orto. Wait for the jet to fly over here. Can you go any faster? If there's anything we know about Ferrania, the modern iteration of it, is that they are just plagued with all kinds of problems, whether that's like labor issues, factory issues, pandemic thing, all that, kind of really did a lot to tank their business, yet they still were able to release those films and quality films at that. This is all skepticism, speculation, anything like that. All I'm bringing to bear is that people are talking about it and kind of on the fence as to whether or not what's true and what's not. Allegedly, there have been people that have heard from people that worked at Ferrania that things are going well. Allegedly, I don't really know for sure. I can't corroborate any of that. But the only thing I can say is if you were kind of on the fence about trying P33 or P30, I would say take this as an incentive for me, that I think it's a great film. I definitely think it's at least worth trying. And there's no opportunity like the present to, buy up a roll or two and hold on to for when you want to shoot with it. Because whether or not they're going out of business or if they are already out of business, who knows, worthwhile to give it a shot. I actually also just remembered another story. So I guess we'll have 4 stories to talk about today. The other one was another Petapixel article. And I want to apologize for kind of dogging on the 2024 article kind of as much as I did. Initially, like I said, I just had a few, in my mind, glaring omissions from it, but there was still some good stuff in there. A lot of stuff I talked about in a previous video, which again, I will link up there. But yes, I apologize for that. They did release another article where they were interviewing a Fuji executive. And basically the long and the short of it is they were asked like, hey, would you get back into the film photography game? And kind of under the guise of, would you make a film camera? And the executive basically said, never say never. But based on the context of that never say never, he was kind of like, well, we already have the Fuji Instax stuff. And yes, film is very popular now, but we don't know if it's going to have a longevity to the market or if it's just kind of a fad, a popular thing that's happening now, but, will die off quickly. That was kind of my interpretation of like a lot of people's reactions to getting into film was like, who knows how long this is going to last. And as I mentioned previously with something like Canon, being such a big industry leader, having so many cameras and so much technology, so much investment in those things, it takes a really long time for them to redirect ship. And in order to meet a market that might just be popping up for, flash in a pan, even if that flash has been for 4 years now, could be on its dying legs, what's the point of spending all this money and time investing in products that aren't going to be ultimately all that successful, that they'll have to probably price up pretty high in order to counteract all of the expenses and all the time put into those things, only for that to fall short and not sell very well. So it's a little bit of a hard sell. I think what the Fuji executive said was just kind of trying to be like, hey, it could happen, but also probably not, but never say never. So just wanted to address that. I will put links down below for that as well. The next one is very interesting. It is a 4x5 camera that's coming out. There is a Kickstarter for it. Smartflex camera is what it's called. It's basically a couple guys in Japan that were shooting 4x5 one day, and they thought, hey, what if this was more modern and more portable? So they started developing this project. They were looking for 30,000. They now have 158,000. It looks like there's 26 days to go on that. So if you want to back the Kickstarter, I will link that down below, but I definitely recommend you check it out for yourself. I'm not super familiar with 4x5. In fact, very, very little. I don't really talk about it all that much because of that. But what I can say is this past year we had Cinestill release 400D in 4x5, and that I think inspires a little bit more confidence in the market because there's now color film out there that has the same vibe and aesthetic that people are looking for in the film photography that they shoot. Now it's in 4x5, which means it's maybe a little bit more accessible for people. And if something like this, obviously there's a lot of groundswell, a lot of interest in it. In fact, almost $160,000 worth of interest in it. Something like this could be very, very popular because it meets kind of a more niche market of people that want to shoot 4x5, but it also is more accommodating to the other market, people like myself who aren't very familiar with the system. It's being introduced in a modern, understandable, and maybe simplistic kind of way. So I think that's very important. It'll be portable, it'll be affordable, it'll be a little bit bigger, obviously, because it's a 4x5 camera, but it's still being more portable than like a Graflex or whatever other 4x5 systems are out there is pretty nice. Also, apparently, Cinestill gave the Smartflex people a really good discount on their 400D film. So if you buy one of the cameras, you will get a package of it for free, which is a very nice gesture, I think. And again, just finds another way to incentivize you to jump into maybe a new format if you so choose. The final story I have for you is one that has very little to do with film photography. In fact, it's almost the exact opposite, and it is a pixelless digital camera Kickstarter. And basically this is a 0.3 megapixel point and shoot system that produces images very similar to that of the Game Boy digital camera edition. So if you don't know what that is, I will put some pictures of it up here, and the photo quality, as you can tell, is very, very bad, but it has a very interesting look to it. Some people like it, some people could care less, but the project itself looks to be kind of interesting. It looks very small. It's from Italy, so that's kind of cool. But I just thought it was interesting and kind of a fun thing, maybe worth talking about, probably not. But if you want to look into it, I will link that down below as well. It's weird, and this is just a constant reminder that I need to check out Kickstarter more for these upcoming projects that are coming out. Thank you very much for watching this really quick little news video. The last few little stories I want to chat about before the end of the year. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, what have you, leave those down below in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it again. As always, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the new year.